Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
good. How are you?
Doing really well. Glad to have you all here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome, awesome. So we got Dear Matilda. If you guys want to take a second to introduce yourselves, just so people have names to faces and all that fun stuff.
Yes, so I'm Gabby.
I'm Damon, the bassist.
Yes,
Awesome,
I sing and play guitar for Dear Matilda.
awesome, awesome. So for anybody that's just kind of getting to meet you for the first time, getting introduced to you, what's kind of the background story of Dear Matilda?
Yeah, that's a kind of ongoing one. I guess I started writing songs probably around 15, 16 years old. And the first song I ever wrote was called Dear Kind One.
Hmm.
And my middle name's Matilda, actually, and I put the two together to come up with Dear Matilda as sort of
Yeah,
an alternative name.
yeah.
Yeah, and years after that, started playing with bands out of high school, and one of the members of that band, Jimmy, still plays in my band now. So
Mm,
he's the lead guitarist,
nice.
and we've got a drummer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was originally the solo project name, Dear Matilda, and she had all these other bands. But yeah, eventually by the time me and the drummer came onto the scene, Dear Matilda was just the band now. It was no longer
Nice.
a solo
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. So it's kind of expanded.
That's awesome. It's kind of cool to what to have this idea for a project. It starts off as like a solo deal, and then as you kind of work with other different bands, and it's like, oh hey, and you start pulling different pieces into it. That's
Yeah.
really cool. How it just kind of naturally progresses into like a fuller project.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. It's been heaps of fun too to have everyone's input in the band,
Yeah,
different parts.
nice.
Yeah.
So as far as like the current iteration or the current lineup of Dear Matilda, how long have y'all been playing together?
We played our first show all together as a band in February this year.
Awesome,
So still like relatively new. Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
Before that, it was a lot of I would go to Gabby's gigs or Gabby would come to my
Yeah.
gigs. So it was really cool. We ended up moving in together through another housemate. And yeah, the opportunity to be able to play with Gabby, who I had seen her and was a big fan of, was really cool to me. So yeah, glad that's been happening since it was probably about December last year that I officially joined.
First jam, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Nice, that's cool. And so when y'all started kind of playing together and the current lineup started to take form, were you looking at was do you kind of consider that the start of Dear Matilda the band, or do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about this too because I guess I started as soon as I started performing at like
Mhm.
open mics. My parents would take me along to like the local open
Yeah.
mic when I was about 16, 17. And I think I signed up as like Dear Matilda, like I used that as like a stage name.
Yeah.
So it's been going for, I'm 25 now, it's been going for quite a while. But yeah, I'd say that this is definitely like a new era of
Mm.
Dear Matilda, the band starting this year. Yeah.
That's hey, fair enough. And when you made the kind of that transition, did you kind of reevaluate what kind of music you were going to make as Dear Matilda? Obviously, bringing in different members, new members, you could do a little bit more than as if you were a social or not a social artist, but a single artist. As the new members kind of came in, did you kind of transform what the band was or what your intentions were?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I did have the intention of when the members joined that I guess it also happened organically, like the songs we picked to play at
Hmm.
the first gig were more rocky, whereas like I've written a lot of like folky country songs as
Mm,
well. But these ones were more like rock and punk
Absolutely.
vibes. So we kind of started with them because they were like a good band place to start with. And then yeah, been really enjoying that and wanting to go more into that. And we've been in the studio a bit this year, and hearing those songs come to life with just like distorted guitars and heavy drums and stuff has been really exciting.
That's awesome.
So it definitely has changed to
Mhm.
when I was just playing by myself, for sure.
That's cool. That's really cool. And you kind of led to this because you just mentioned that you've been in the studio and whatnot. But are you where are you kind of at in that process? Are you still recording, or are you getting ready to release, or where are you kind of at in that process?
We've got 2 days of studio time left. We've just been in there for the past 2 weeks.
Nice.
All the drums are tracked, all the bass is tracked. It's all the lead guitars and just a few vocals left to go.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a 5-song EP to work with for the next year.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really good. And the hope is to have it ready to go by maybe not the beginning of next year, but next year at some point.
Yeah, I think beginning of next
Yeah.
year we can start with releasing some singles from the EP. But
Yeah, mapping it all out, planning it out. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We worked with this same studio about the middle of the year,
Yeah,
July.
they did Anymore.
And they worked on our single that is out called Anymore.
Mm.
And they had a really quick turnaround time too, like still amazing quality, but like, sometimes it can take ages to get your song back. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes in mixing and mastering it, but they were just insanely, quick.
Efficient, I'd say.
Yeah.
They're running a really good operation.
Yeah.
Hey, the fact that they were able to get it flipped quickly is cool. So the single that you currently have out now, what's kind of the story behind that?
Yeah, that was written a long time ago, about 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a bit of a heartbreak song. When my ex and I broke up, just needed escape to release out all the emotions and stuff as we do. And yeah, just wrote this song Anymore. And it was one of the band's favorites that we'd been playing. And I wanted to get into the studio, and I said, we'll do one song first, just see how we gel together and what we can do better next time. So did the one song Anymore and released that just last month.
Nice. Awesome. And will this be a part of the upcoming EP, or is this just like a standalone thing?
Excellent question. We hadn't thought about that.
It's sort of a good fit, I think, considering it's not in the same studio, but
similar sound.
Yeah, well, that's a 50-50, I have to say. I don't think we've got an answer yet.
Fair.
You've given us the idea.
Yeah. I had to ask, because the idea of standalone singles is definitely a good way to kind of keep your name out there, but also if you're on obviously a 5-song EP, that's like a really good EP to have out there, and you don't want to upset that balance. So it could go, like you said, 50-50. I think either way you're going to do the right thing. So
yeah.
Yeah. So you said you still got a couple of days left in the studio. How have you been enjoying getting into the studio and working on new music?
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and a lot of the songs are a lot more new than Anymore was, even when I wrote it. So some of them have only been written maybe
3 or 4 months.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months ago. So yeah, really great to have that inspiration, be fresh to work on those songs.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, obviously with songs that fresh and new, but then again, with being a band that's only been together since the beginning of the year, that makes sense that you'd kind of focus on fresher, newer songs. How does that creative process kind of break down in the band? Are you two the main creatives, or is it, how does it kind of break down?
Yeah, well, I sort of are relevant to it. I will hear as Gabby writes the songs because we live together, so they'll be fresh in my mind. I think with one of the songs, Clock's Ticking, I came out and wrote a bass line for it before she was finished writing the chorus. But yeah, often it's mostly entirely Gabby, or our lead guitarist Jimmy has a lot of good inputs on songwriting. I try to stay away from songwriting. I'm more interested in the song being ready, and then I can put a good arrangement into it, because that's more exciting to me. And I also, if I was to contribute lyrics, I don't think they'd ever make it into the studio. I think they'd be thrown out first thing.
Fair. I completely understand. And so with the creative process, are you guys usually drawing from like, are you usually, Gabby, drawing from like personal experiences, or are you just kind of more of like a random idea pops into your head and that's what you tend to write about?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of things. I would say the main thing is life experience and having an outlet to express the things that are going on in my life, or kind of put them into words. That's like, yeah, one of the biggest things, but I kind of get inspiration from anywhere, like yeah, anything that I can think of.
I don't want to be mean, but I've gone to a parent's house and I've seen there's a mug, and the mug happens to have one of our chorus lyrics on it. So
that is true. I stole lyrics from a mug.
Well, hey, you know, inspiration strikes anywhere, and I don't
That's
think
right.
I don't think any of that's copywritten, right? I don't know, but
I don't know.
I don't think it's word for word what you sing anyway.
No,
So
it's a little.
you've been very careful to make sure whoever made your mug doesn't come after you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And so, how often are you guys playing shows right now? Are you playing pretty consistently, or?
Yes and no. We were doing a lot of like duo shows. Like sometimes I was playing with the guitarist, or like me and Damon would play like just a little kind of acoustic thing. But yeah, been wanting to focus more on the band gigs, and we were wanting to like play, I don't know, make them real big kind of shows, like special events. We've both been in bands that will like gig every weekend, and like although it's lots of fun and I love playing live, I'd love to do it all the time. It's good to like, I think, try and like build up the shows, get a good audience in, have the energy to make it as exciting as possible for everyone, so they want to come back and see you again. Just like neatly planning out everything that goes into a show. I think I really like the whole process. So yeah.
And kind of being in a place where, it, especially as a musician, or if a band's not really able to travel out, like I'm guessing full-time jobs, or like in whatever the situation is, the idea that you're presenting of doing fewer but bigger shows kind of keeps you from flooding the market and flooding, the city, because I don't quite know how big like Melbourne and where you guys are at specifically is, but I'd imagine if you played like consistently 2-3 times a week or something like that, you'd probably flood your market pretty heavily with like not making gigs as special.
Yeah.
I think we'd also run out of venues within 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, that's true. There's still a lot.
There's a lot of Melbourne venues, but like when you're going around them, it feels like even now.
Yeah, and a lot of them also want you to kind of have like a 2-week or so gap between shows in the area. Yeah, so like, I think it's been particularly hard, like classic after COVID kind of thing as well. Building that back up.
Yeah.
And plus, we also need time to go see gigs ourselves.
Yes.
If we're gigging 2 to 3 times a week,
networking.
We miss out on. I just like seeing live music anyway. I don't want to miss that because I'm always doing it. Hog the limelight.
Fair enough. And the fact that you're aware of wanting to keep your love and passion for music alive by still getting out there to see venue or see shows and not just always be the one putting on the show, but go out and support your friends. That's really cool.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're just as much a part of the industry as anyone who would come to our gig.
Yeah, and it's nice to build that community, like friends coming to your shows, you going to their shows, and like you've all seen each other play, and you know, it makes it, and your shows aren't clashing with your friends. You're able to like get to them because you're not playing all the time. So
yeah, I completely understand. So when you as the city of Melbourne is concerned, what's the scene like there? What's the independent scene like in Melbourne for you?
I think it's insanely good.
Yeah.
I've met so many friends just through going to gigs alone and the music scene. We've got very diverse genres. You know, within just 2 buildings apart, you could probably have like the heaviest metal show you've seen, which Melbourne has a lot of really heavy metal shows. But we've still got jazz clubs everywhere as well. There's no like
ska, hip hop.
Yeah, well, there's hip hop and jazz nights everywhere. That's great, and you know, it's not always contained to one venue. Like I know places like what's it, Laundry
Bar, yeah.
They host all of these genres themselves, and you know, there's just
diverse.
It's not a city where, you know, one thing is taken over. We've got age range, we've got diversity, we've got. I like it a lot. Whatever I'm in the mood for, it's there. I've just got to look for a long gig guide.
Right. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm glad that y'all have a city and like venues specifically that support multiple different genres, and it's not just, oh, we only play acoustic stuff here, or we only play hip hop, or you know, like whatever it is. The fact that one night they'll have the heaviest of death metal bands, and then the next night, you know, a solo acoustic act. That's vital to any independent music scene.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. And just giving everyone the opportunity and platform, like no matter what kind of music you play as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So if anybody wants to check out Dear Matilda and check out your music or your upcoming releases or catch a show or, you know, just interact with you on social, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, Instagram's a good spot. Dear Matilda Music, you'll find it on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram.
Pretty heavy on TikTok.
TikTok, doing that. What else? We got stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, once again, thank you so much for jumping on here. Really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat. Absolutely enjoyed our conversation. And as you kind of get ready to release this next batch of songs, this EP, feel free to reach out. We'd love to have you on, dive a little bit deeper, maybe get the full band on, whatever's in the cards. So awesome.
Thank you so much for having us, and best of luck with all the fundraising.
Yeah, good luck. What's it, 20 hours left?
Just under 20 hours. So we're making headway. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of pushing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat. And we're going to do a little switcheroo here and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good one.